the lobby.
I'll gladly do the lobby next time. I literally didn't know if I had to do anything special besides put in the code, which I didn't have, but I knew I could like quickly get. So I was like, ah, you've done this before. I'll let you do it. But if it's a hassle, I'll gladly do it. I do these literally every day because I post all the lobbies for my Harmony potential Harmony tier team, and then as well as mine. So seasoned, I guess.
Seasoned. Are we live? Oh wait, there's a delay.
Live, read chat.
Is it gonna be up in what, like 3 minutes or something?
Oh my. Well, we're
Oh.
live, so yeah, I
Looks
guess
like, all right,
go
all
right
right, all
into it.
right. It looks like we're good. Looks like we're back into it. Halftime over. We're checking if the teams are ready. The map will be Watchpoint Gibraltar, picked out especially by Meteors. We've seen these teams go back and forth with these map picks, taking their respective maps. But what do you think this means? Of course, it could be a switch up to dive here for Meteors, and they certainly have the roster to do it. But I'd be interested to see if they actually decide to do something along those lines.
Yeah, HQC, like I said earlier, has a really excellent Winston, and I hope that they take advantage of it on, his map, one of his two, being Watchpoint and Horizon Lunar Colony. But uh, riding the cart as a jockey isn't the worst idea. Orisa can get a lot of value. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like that idea of dive. You've put it into my head. I really hope that's what we end up seeing. But at the end of the day, I'm not holding my breath in this current meta. If you understand my drift. So I want to see the damage again. Like, I know we've been talking them up, and I'm going to keep doing it because that's what I like to see is these different damage comps that they're coming out with. And I don't know. This is one of those really wide open maps that really anything can happen. It's a kind of a sniper alley here in the first point, and then the second point, that high ground is so nice on top of the shuttle. So I think Pyro having that Widowmaker in the back pocket might be pulling that out, hopefully. Looks like Shoney's going to be doing that as well, if these picks stay the same. But it looks like we're seeing the conventional 2-2-2 coming out of Meteors. If Eclipse play this correctly and take wide engagements and kind of avoid the damage and the utility coming out of the Mei, the Sig, the Moira, and the Reaper, then we might see a pretty short first point, having Shoney on the Widow potentially, and I don't know if this is all gonna stay, but I really hope it does. As I say, but yeah, I still think with these long range characters like McCree and Hanzo and potentially Zen, if we're keeping that, we might see a difficult task ahead of Meteors trying to hold off this team of snipers. But they're taking this low ground positioning probably to disable what the Hanzo McCree can do. But that alley's still potent, especially if you position correctly around it. So we'll have to see what they're trying to do here.
Now, this underground position is a little bit tricky. It's less a question of are Meteors able to pull it off, and it's more a question of are Eclipse able to figure out how to beat it. And slowly the halt lands, not gonna be funny, and it kills either way. The shield goes down for Meteors as slowly being pushed through. Eclipse just looking for their opportunity. And that'll be it, taking out Courage as well as HQC. The tank's down. This is their chance to push in, but J-Vice and Pyro on top of Eclipse here, but not finding the kills they need. Holly will be taking out Cryptic Force, but slowly pushing onto Bray. Meteors aren't quite out of this one yet. They still have 4 members up, but the res lands onto Cryptic Force, and Rocket taking out J-Vice is going to cut a lot of that damage off. Maywall is pretty good here. He's been cutting off a lot of members here, but Shoney Red just gets a higher vantage point to be taking these people out. Shoney Red showing up big in the kill feed, though. Looking to push them out here. 3 members up for Meteors, but this point slowly being pushed through, and this is not a position they want to be in.
Yeah, Shoney Red keeping the kill feed red is exactly what they want on the side of Eclipse, and this is going to be a tough last fight coming out of that choke, but they do have the Doomfist now who can take advantage of that a little bit more.
Fantastic early dragon out of Rocket will be taking out Holly, but HQC trading right back on a Shoney Red. That McCree gone. He was such a threat. Braytho finding J-Vice, and the kills going each and every way. Rocket picking off Pyro. Last thing Coalescence is both drop. Going to be looking for more here is Bubbers, but not going to be finding anybody. Bray managed to pick off Courage, and Bubbers and Bray are just trying to kill HQC as best they can, but the Fortify going to be keeping him up for such a long time. Rocket needs to be starting to find these kills, but he's taken out by J-Vice before he can do anything, and barely managing to stabilize. It's going to be Meteors taking the fight.
Yeah, it was a really long, drawn-out fight, and both teams taking advantage of it. Initially, Eclipse getting that momentum, but getting immediately snuffed out by the sustainability of the supports on the side of Meteors. Pretty much everybody, it seemed, on both teams got at least a kill in that fight. I think even I got one. So we'll have to see how they try to handle this Doomfist, because if we were looking at Pyro at all, he was snuffing out a lot of the nice positioning that Eclipse took with those excellent punches.
High noon from the high ground. Shoney not going to be getting any value, but the Dragon looked to split this team in half. Pyro's up on the high ground just waiting for his opportunity. Bray managed to pick off HQC, but Rocket finding Holly. And the Gravitic Flex picking up everybody who was on the flank before. Pyro does manage to pick off Rocket and Shoney Red. The Death Blossom not going to be finding anybody here, though, for J-Vice. But Pyro doing it all on his own. The Doomfist coming up massive this fight.
Exactly, yeah. It's going to be how do you handle the Doomfist on the side of the Eclipse. They do have Shoney there on the McCree, potentially getting the pick with the stun, but immediately switching onto the Reaper as I say that, probably just trying to out-damage the front line and kind of maybe even ignore the Doomfist, because much like Pharah, if you ignore the Doomfist just for the initial part and get maybe a pick or two before he's able to really get those momentum going with those extra shields he can generate, then you can see a lot of value out of just leaving him for later, picking him last, or just letting him get out of the fight, especially with his ult now online, pretty much being free of any responsibility when it comes to getting damage dealt to him. So I'll have to see. This might be the last push for Eclipse. Here comes the Supercharger on the side of Meteors, getting a lot of value onto that shield, and the damage having their own little spat on the high ground.
Yes, but the bongos are dropped both ways. The Slam looks to try and find somebody, not going to pick up anybody. The J-Vice doing it all on his own. The Reaper looking to do enough here. Holly finding a pick on a Shoney Red. Bubbers trading right back on a Pyro. The Eclipse are slowly getting picked apart here on the point. The spawn advantage is going to matter only more and more as the Coalescence is committed here from Arise. Look at close this fight out here right now. Finding two members of Eclipse left. Just trying to hold on the point though is Cryptic Force. The hamster ball just trying to roll around as best he can, buy as much time as possible, but overtime ticks down and they barely get anywhere here on point A.
Definitely great point coming out of Arise. That last fight pretty much decided by almost them alone when it came to the dying embers of Eclipse's push. And then Pyro on that excellent switch to Doomfist, pretty much securing the fact that point one was going to be impenetrable by the side of Eclipse. And what do you do in this situation as Eclipse on this defense? You pretty much are in one fight territory. Like, they did not push it very far, but obviously Meteors got a second fight out of it. They did well to stagger their depths and let their fast characters come back last and get to the point, stop it early on that corner, and leave Eclipse in a weird spot. They if they don't position properly, or one thing goes wrong, and they don't have a Mercy to res it, might be seeing an early map 5. So we'll have to see. Again, like the same thing that happened in the last map. Maybe Eclipse could do the anything you can do, I can do better. But Pyro on the Widow, J-Vice on the Hanzo. I hope this stays. I hope they're not just trying to tease me with exactly what I want to see, because Sniper Alley is the name of the game here, and it looks like we're seeing a more conventional hold come out of Eclipse here on the high ground. And with the May Reaper, exactly what we saw on the side of Meteors the last round, going for maybe a close hold here, could really put the brakes on Meteors as they're coming out of spawn with a potential Bastion instead of the Widowmaker.
Somehow a perfectly rolled composition here for Eclipse. They can roll out and deny this Bastion area on card that they want. It's going to be absolutely huge as they look for the early engage. Kirsch will be in with that damage. Pyro just looking for an opportunity to get set up, but Rocket's right on top, dishing out the damage, and the Bastion goes down instantly here. Fantastic job from Eclipse, shutting down that composition before it could ever get started.
Exactly, and now they're playing around that Mega Health Pack room, which is a great position. This is something you see in a lot of Tier 2, and I think this is exactly what Eclipse need to try to hold off this long, almost 4-minute battle that they're going to have to do against Meteors. But Pyro having a great damage angle on the back of Eclipse, everyone just not paying attention to the Pharah, and getting so much damage off right out of the gate is probably going to leave Meteors in a position here soon to be able to just take the point. But as I say that, 9-volt Cryptic getting respective kills, Pyro answering back. It's, again, another slobber knocker. Everybody's getting kills. Everybody's trying their best.
Oh my god, Rocket! Death Blossoming off the high ground, going to be taking a rise right out of the sky. That's no longer a damage fist as far as just a regular run as Rocket looking to do it all on his own. Dropping down extra low, though, no supports to keep him alive, and he'll be going down.
Yeah, that was exactly what Eclipse probably feared, is getting only about a minute off the clock here on that first point. But the advantage of having that early engage is that you can kind of regroup a little bit more calmly and set up for this second engagement while Meteors kind of leave the point to the duty of the horse lady.
I'll tell you a scary sentence, though, if you're Eclipse, that Pyro has a Barrage and J-Vice has a Dragon, and they're going to look to use him here as Courage looks for the engagement on the back line. The ball rolling in, but Rocket finding the first pick on HQC as the Dragon is dropped. The invulnerability field will be keeping the rest of Eclipse alive. Rocket finding one more pick here onto Courage, and it's going to be stabilization here is the name of the game for Eclipse, holding on to that bottom ground. The Barrage comes in, not going to be finding anybody. Pyro putting another one to waste.
I'm assuming that is going to be a swap. Far not potentially going to be able to cut it here on this later part of the point, and exactly what I thought. We're going to see the Reaper switch, which is excellent for this low ground engagement. But we see the that we have a lot of BAP ults in the field, so we're going to see what these mirrors are capable of doing.
The window along with the high noon drop going to be picking off Holly. Rocket trading right back on to J-Vice and Doomfist, not getting any value here in the back line of Eclipse. And they continue to push, continue to gain ult charge, and continue to hold on to this map.
Excellent combo by Shony Red and Bubbers. Exactly what I was saying. The mirror match of the Baps going in the way of Bubbers there with the great window to make the ults of McCree even more powerful than it already is, being one of the strongest ults in the games when it comes to pure damage. So kind of going at an ult deficit we have here. Only Holly having an ult, while we have 3 going on 4 the side of Eclipse. See what they can do to try to sway the economy back in their favor.
We mentioned the ultimate economy being so good for Eclipse, managing to hold on to it for so long, and can they do it again? Bongo dropped out of sight of Meteors, but it doesn't matter as the kill start going the way. Oh, Rocket stunned immediately out of his Death Blossom, not going to be finding quite enough value. There are 3 members left alive on cart here for Eclipse. It's going to buy them a good amount of time to get their spawns back up. And not going to be denying a lot of that space, but this cart slowly but surely pushing towards the inevitability that is the end of point A right now.
I think they're going to be the last hole, but they've done a great job to get it down to 40 seconds, so this could be it if they engage properly. They do still have those 2 big ults, and one more on the way by Bubbers, so this is doable.
Eclipse has all the tools in their pocket to do if they want it to. Cryptic Force will be dropping the grid and pins of 4 members here of Meteors, all dropping so low. The kills are rolling up. Red Rockets finishing off everybody here. 3 members left alive for Meteors as 15 seconds ticks down on the clock. Horizon HQC just trying to stay alive just so they can get one more touch on the point. J-Vice going down though, 9 seconds ticking down on the clock. HQC's waiting for his opportunity, waiting to get back on the clock, but he's found out by 9volt. He pushes forward with the fortified, but he will almost certainly be going down soon. 1 second left on the clock, and Holy barely managed to get a touch in. Shony Red gonna be zoning everybody off here with the high noon though. Pyro gets a touch on the Reaper, but it's almost surely over. The Death Blossom drop finds 1 member here of Eclipse. Courage trying to touch the point. Overtime ticking down. Another member. J-Vice going to be getting another touch. HQC back on the point. 2 members left alive here for Meteors, but a Death Blossom out of Rocket almost certainly going to be ending this one in the favor of Eclipse.
Excellent showing by Eclipse. Like I said, anything that Meteors can do, Eclipse seem to be able to do better, and wow, what the 3 points that they had to hold there, 1 at door, 1 underneath, and 1 at the final checkpoint, was all nail biters. Meteors had a lot of great ideas going into points, but that ult economy is what we kept saying halfway through the match, just iterating the DPS ults that they had, the tank ults that Eclipse were holding on to for excellent amount of time, and right when they would spend them, they would have another one ready to go, with Cryptic having the Gravitic Flux online, and then next fight having the Orisa ult. The combo was excellent. So at the end there, Cryptic's 4-man Gravitic Flux, probably my favorite play of that map. That was a clutch moment. The Baptiste on the side of Meteors went and threw down the Immortality Field, which was immediately snuffed out. Everybody knows the play. Killed it. All the damage goes through, and then it was just sweeping up the mess at that point. So 3-1 in favor of Eclipse. Not what a lot of people were expecting, but what I know a lot of us out there have been wanting to see is a team that started off as a dark horse candidate, or even you couldn't even call them that at first, coming this far into the playoffs and taking on the number 2 seed that is Meteors and giving them a thorough run for their money. So we're gonna have to see another swap on the side of Meteors to maybe change up the pacing that Eclipse are getting. But as I say that, like every map Eclipse gets stronger. They're just more in sync. They get more and more FaceTime with each other. They get more synergy when it comes to their ultimate plays that we're seeing the mirrors come out, or the windows come out from BAP to combo with these high damage output ults. We see the Reaper ults coming in at perfect times over the top just to catch Meteors out, while we're not seeing quite the unison on Meteors, but we're seeing a lot of the technical proficiency, which is where these two teams differ, I think, where Eclipse are the tried and true 6-man roster, while Meteors are this plethora of talent. And we're starting to see the synergy kind of push ahead of what you're able to accomplish in this setting that is anywhere from plat to masters or even grandmasters at this point.
Yeah, I think this entire series has been a story of, like you mentioned, anything you can do, I can do better. It started out with Eclipse taking the map 1, but Meteors managing to just turn on their DPS players for map 2, but it feels like how many notches can you actually take it up? It seems like Eclipse just continue to go, but what exactly do Meteors need to have in their back pocket if they want to have a chance at finishing this one out?
I'd like to say that really stopping Eclipse is to isolate the win condition, and that seems to be what you want to do with pretty much every comp. And I can't put a finger on who Eclipse's win con is. Everyone's outperforming my expectations. Like, if you put a lot of resources into Rocket on the Reaper, then what are you going to do about Shoni Red, who's just going to hit you in the back of the head with an insane amount of damage? And then you're like, well, Cryptic's carrying on tank. Then Bray holds the front line so well that any engagement gets snuffed out by Fortify or Holtz or another excellent early bongo. And then both the supports keeping the DPS healthy, keeping the tanks healthy so that they can fully maximize their potential. There's no right answer I can give to who's winning their teams these points for Eclipse, and it comes down to Eclipse winning these points, and that's what they got to stop, which is the hardest thing.
We see mirror matches come up, walls dropping in from both sides, not going to be cutting off just enough people. Cryptic Force does get frozen, not going to be taken out. Short forced into his ice block, and it's going to be Rocket picking off her eyes for the first pick, but trading right back. 2 kills, J-Vice and Cool Sam picking up 2 members of Eclipse. 4 members left alive, and a boop is going to be enough to take the rest of the members of Eclipse off this point. Knife will try and hold on, but he gets taken right out of the air. Pyro with the fantastic little last kill.
Yeah, Trashford there showing us that the dominant Lucio in the lobby, getting a lot of these boop kills. And I know that the Orisa was really the only one to go over the edge and kind of on a misplay of walking off the edge, but setting up that damage potential to get them all behind the shield was excellent on the side of Meteors.
Early pushing the wall doesn't quite land from Shonira, but it forces everybody into a small area, and it's going to be just enough to get him into a small area for the Bubbers. Coalescence, he pushes in early. Cryptic Force and Rocket taking full advantage of it, but 2 members down here for Meteors, and he gets knocked off. Cryptic Force gets halted off the ledge. Rocket as well going down. The fight even up. Courage going to be using the Cryptic Force. Will be picking up Bray, taking him down to half health here. He'll be able to stay alive. The more Bubbers is able to keep him up for just a little bit longer, but the kills are starting to roll the way of Meteors. Still, Trash Run finding another boop kill here on a Shoni Red.
Yeah, keep an eye on Trash Road, and I'd have to say this is looking like this is their map. They put them in for a reason, and they're really showing us what they're capable of doing on the Lucio. I look to see another great play out of them, but they're probably setting up to stop any of these DPS ults that we're about to see out of Shoni Red or potentially Rocket here soon with that early sound barrier.
That is a huge ultimate advantage right now for Meteors, and they're going to look to take full advantage of it. Early blizzards, though, from both sides. Be zoning everybody off. Bray finding the pick onto Arizo means there's a lot of healing gone. And oh my goodness, 2 more kills, 3 more kills going the way of Eclipse. We want to close this point out. J-Vice just wants to get away as best he can, but the point is almost certainly flipping over the way of Eclipse.
Yeah, Trash Roden hanging on to that ultimate potentially a little too long as the May ult got dropped and got a lot of damage output going the way of Eclipse, and we'll have to see what Meteors are capable of doing as they come back in with 3 ults, seeing the Orisa Bongo paired with J-Vice's extremely damaging Reaper ult, and then Trash's, like I've mentioned ad nauseum, the beat. And
oh no, they don't know. They don't know. They're coming up behind him. They get the early positioning. The wall though cuts off 2 members here of Meteors. It's going to get shredded through though. Just in time, the Coalescence dropped out of Bubbers, but the sound barrier to go with it. All the ultimate advantage is going the way of Eclipse. But Trash Run finds another boot pick onto Cryptic Force. This man is absolutely insane. The Death Blow dropped out of Janos, finding 2 more kills, 3 more kills. Finishing off 1 more. Shoni Red going down, and Rocket blasting off again right off of this point. 77% taking over the way of Meteors.
You'd have to give that to Trashford. Getting, again, those early picks with the boops is just remarkable. Cryptic not even at an ult yet, so really getting their number is Trashford. And here they go, trying to mix up their approach this time, going in onto the point.
Forget DPS looking for kills. It's Trashford in all of this map, and he's looking for another one. He's up high. He's waiting for his opportunity. He drops low, and he fights 3 members again. Eclipse. Trashford. Can somebody give me some of what he's eating? Oh my goodness, and they're booped off just in time.
It's unbelievable. Like,
what on earth is this man eating for breakfast?
Why? Yeah, why even have damage characters when you have Trashford and just booping people off the map? Like, forget the middleman of hitting your target with, you know, bullets. Why not just push them into the oblivion? So, excellent job putting Trash onto this map and just handling map 1, hopefully giving them a little bit of momentum to potentially finish it here on Village, or maybe, if not, then on Shrine. But this is going to be a map where you can't rely on Trash to get those early boop kills for you, and it's going to be a little bit more honest Overwatch, just raw damage on raw damage. And we usually see the high ground approach here from these kind of teams, so we'll have to see with these almost identical team comps and almost identical play styles when it comes to utilizing them, what they're capable of doing, as one, if not both, you know, both the teams are going to the far side of point.
It's all going to be the wall game here as they push up early. The wall, though, cutting off equal members from both sides of the kills. Turning up Red, showing red 9-volt, and Rocket showing up in the kill feed here for Eclipse, looking to make a statement on this next map. They say, you can't get boop kills, you can't win the map.
That's what it's looking like, too. That was a clinical performance on the side of Eclipse. It looked like Meteors just disabled Mouse 1 and just walked into all the damage potential that Eclipse had. And we'll have to see what they do by taking the high ground and potentially getting Pyro up to an early ult and taking the point back. But Shoney already ahead in the ult econ. So is Rocket. We might even see an ult out of them this point if they don't play this carefully on the side of Meteors.
I've got to say, when it comes down to the Reaper matchup, it feels like Rocket has been absolutely outclassing J-Vice in every way right now. As J-Vice does move in on the backline, the question with, he managed to get value onto Bubbers right as I talk. Of course, Caster's Curse as always, but the wall is great here. Out of Shoney Red, cutting off many members of Meteor's. Courage going to be trading right back onto Bray, though. Arise as well. J-Vice. Eclipse still has 2 members left alive on point. Make it 1 to make it be holding on just a little bit longer. 40% will be their ending percentage here if they can even get through this May wall. And point ticks over the way of Meteors.
And you might end up owing the side of Eclipse money on that one, because you went and poked the bear that is J-Vice and asked him pretty much to get a kill before the fight started. And that's exactly what he delivered, was a excellent flank onto the Moira, getting rid of all of the healing potential on the side of
Should we
Eclipse.
just stop casting?
I think we should just let it play out.
Coalescence dropped from both sides, looking for the early engagement. Rocket's in the back line, this time looking for a kill, and he finds it. Onto Trashford, saying anything you can do, I can do better. That's the story of tonight. Orion trying to regroup with his tanks. 4 members left alive here. 4 Meteors on the point. J-Vice though dishing in the damage on the Reaper, but Rocket trading right in with his Death Balls and finding 2 members here. J-Vice looking to do the same thing, but it'll be the Blizzard drop from Pyro, trying to equalize this point up. 2 more kills going the way of Meteors. They can stabilize here. It's 2 versus 3 on the point. Make it 3 versus 2 in favor of Eclipse. They gotta close out these kills though. Cool Sam taking out Bray. Trashford committing the sound barrier. They can't manage to do this. They're gonna use the Griffin Flux. It will pick up both members here of Meteors. They get taken out. The Lucio finally going down to Rise back on the point, but the spawns coming in for Eclipse just in time. 2 members of Meteors will touch again. This is almost certainly gonna be closed out. Unless J-Vice comes out huge! Fighting 5 members of Eclipse with another Death Blossom.
That's unfair. Like, ban J-Vice. That was not appropriate for the stream. That was a 5-man kill when Eclipse had done and had that point. But the excellent stall out of the toaster that is Cool Sam staying alive in the corner, having the ult able to keep them up by Trash Road, and then thinking that Cryptic would finish that off. J-Vice getting another incredible pick, but here we go. Rocket getting the pick and Courage.
Engagement though, coming out of Eclipse, and they do manage to find 1 member with the freeze, and it's going to be the main tank. That's exactly what you need. The kills all rolling away of Eclipse, but they only have 40% on the point. It's not quite over here for Meteors, but it's certainly good if you're on the side of Eclipse.
Yeah, we're looking at the ult economy here, and we got 9 volts. You could potentially save the team from any oncoming damage or any high value, but Arise again with their ult on that side, but Courage a lot closer to the ult than we see Cryptic Force, and Pyro a lot closer than Shoney, so it's looking like Meteors have the means to maybe in a fight or two take this point back, but do they have the time is the question.
God knows what's going to happen when Rocket's 80% to an ult in the middle of the fight. 9-volt does have a sound barrier. I think that'll actually be the difference makers, whether he can use it effectively. The Maywall comes out early, but it doesn't cut anybody off. Courage does find the Gravitic Flux only onto Bray, though. Oh no, finding 4 members here of Eclipse. They almost avoided the wall, cutting them perfectly in half. Not going down, though, finally will be Bray. Bubba's trading right back onto J-Vice, but Arise finding 2 members here with the Cool Time looking to close it out. 89% going to be taken down on the point here for Meteors.
And how dare our hubris of trying to forget Arise when we had Trash Road on the other map, just taking the spotlight on support. Arise getting an excellent coalescence to take out the entire side of Eclipse to take that map.
And not getting to touch. It's going to be Meteors closing out the point. 2-0, taking our map score to 3-2. We're in for a slugfest tonight, it seems, as we're going to be going to a map. What is it?
6.
6 now? Goodness gracious.
And Arise kind of stealing the play of the game from the hands of Trash Road, and probably kicking and screaming too. So we'll have to keep a closer on the supports. You know, we talked up the DPS so much. We say J-Vice isn't good anymore, and then he gets an excellent kill in the back. We say Rocket's not good, they get a kill. Then J-Vice gets mad and gets a 5-man, and then Arise says, please look at me, casters, and then gets an excellent 3-man Cole. So all we have to do is not talk about a player long enough if we want to see them improved, and that might be what Meteors need. If we just keep talking up Eclipse like they're the team that they've been showcasing on some of these maps, and Meteors will be able to grab this game right back. Again, it's still match points, so you have to be very careful with Meteors, especially when Eclipse have the map pick. But if they're able to get themselves to map 7, that's when the nerves settle in. And you've had a team that has been running this train for what's going on 2 hours now. So it's going to be a test of, does the fatigue set in if we get to map 7 or even map 6? It's been a long time. So we'll have to see what both teams are going to show us here on this hybrid map. I believe Kings Row is out of the question. So I think what it's looking like is Hollywood. And
that's exactly what it'll be.
Hollywood's one of those maps where a little less than Iconwall, I see a lot of 0.1 holds. And we've been seeing a lot of them today, as we saw on Watchpoint. So I don't know how capable Eclipse are going to be to try to dismantle the defense of Meteors, which has looked impregnable on some maps. But at the same time, they always seem to, when I say, oh, they're out of this, Meteors had a too great of a defense, they end up pushing it that extra meter and getting over the line that the Meteors set. Again, anything you can do, I can do better. So this could be curtains. I'm assuming this is a practice map. They picked Hollywood for a reason. But then again, they picked Kings Row when that was the hybrid map the first time around. Assuming that they were practicing for maybe only 1 in scrims, because I know, you got to cram as much as you can. They might just be falling back on Hollywood for lack of a better map, and that might give Meteors the edge, assuming that maybe that was their map pick, because we didn't see what they wanted on hybrid. So
yeah, you've got to feel with that player number advantage. Your map pool is probably going to be a decent chunk deeper, if anything else, coming out of Meteors. But honestly,
at least 3 players, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the question mark, even when they were ahead in this series, even though they are ahead in the series, the big question mark is almost always on Eclipse on these maps, I feel.
Oh yeah, because they're like you keep saying, they are the question mark team. They have the potential to upset anybody, or have the potential to, act like the seed number they are, which is it was the lowest of the non, wild card picks, and they took out the number 3 seed in good and looking good doing it too. And then now they're going against the number 2, one more notch in the ladder. And like you said earlier, they just keep pushing their capabilities up 1 notch at a time. And they're in line to pick up this 4th map and close us out for the day. But it doesn't look as convincing as it did when we came into the last map. I thought that was going to be it. Control, again, going in the way of Eclipse. But no, Meteors take it back. Now they're 1-1 on control maps. And now we're potentially seeing them go maybe 1-1 on this if Meteors are able to take it. So
Yeah, I think the biggest thing if you're Eclipse is honestly the mental game. You're up
Right.
3-2 right now. You can't let one loss get to your head. You've got 2 chances to pick up this 4th map, and it looks like they want to storm this map early, pushing in very aggressively. But the hook does manage to find Bray, picking him off. Will be a rise. The halt hook looks deadly on Anubis, and it looks just as deadly here.
Yeah, Rise and J-Vice doing insane amounts of damage, and as I say that, Pyro says, please talk about me too. And we have 68% on the side of Rise's ult. We have 54 on J-Vice. We have all of these ults coming online here very soon, and we have Shoney Red just now getting on the McCree. We have Bubbers just switching onto the Brig. We have Rocket barely getting any ult, switching over to the Hanzo. The Brig was obviously a bait. I should have never said that word. And now we have all these swaps, and the closest they're all to ult is Cryptic Force's Gravitic Flux at 36, and pretty much everybody aside from the Mercy and the Roadhog are already above that. So the ult economy looking really good for Meteors.
Oh my god, J-Vice finds Bray. That's going to be more charged towards this dragon, which is, again, already up. It's been a one fight. 9-Volt managed to get the res off. It's going to be a slow but steady push for them right now.
Yeah, 2 ults coming online right now, and they are one combo pretty well. It's a lot of damage potential. And here comes the dragon.
The dragon's dropped. It splits him in half, and it will be picking off Shoney Red along with the halt. Fantastic combo here out of the Meteors, but Rocket looking to take back this high ground. They're down 2 members now. 9-Volt going down, the Mercy no longer here, and they're pushing 4 Meteors looking for more.
Yeah, I don't think it's really fair to put Courage on Roadhog, because that's a 3rd DPS player, and he has a DPS background, so this is looking rough for Eclipse, trying to get past all this damage output. We have Pyro getting an ult now, Cool Sam getting super close, Arise still holding on to that super utility ult that is the window, and only Bubbers with an ult right now, and Cryptic getting closer, but not quite there yet.
You know, I just don't think Meteors believe in 2-2-2 luck. As
No,
the Hulk
definitely not.
lands onto Bray, they're running full DPS squad here. Bray gonna get taken out. The main tank gone. Forced back again are Meteors, and yeah, no, 2-2-2 luck is dead.
Yeah, there's no
Meteors
way to
killed it.
enforce it. With Meteors playing like this, it's all DPS all the time with 1 Mercy to keep everybody in line. So it's not. Oh,
my god, Bray gets
Lanza.
out again.
That was unfortunate for Eclipse. That wasted about another 20 seconds and a lot of ults on the side of Meteors. I probably shouldn't even say J-Vice is almost to an ult, because before I know it, he's gonna be at an ult.
I'm not. We're down to 1 minute and 20 seconds, and I don't even think anybody from Eclipse's touched point
Don't think they've seen it.
has moved anywhere near it. They've barely made it through the choke. They lose members going through it every time, and will they be able to do it again? Rocket looks to take the high ground. Is going to be the first step there. The window drop's going to be forcing a lot of people back, but the bongo as well means a lot of damage here for Eclipse. This could be their opportunity to push, but they've got a lot of ultimates pushing. The dragon will be cutting them in half for right now. Do they manage to stay alive? Pyro uses the barrage, but he's taking him out of the sky immediately by Cryptic Force. J-Vice trading right back on the Rocket, though. The whole hog looking to close one out. Courage gets stunned out, does not cancel the res. 9-Volt picks up Rocket off of the high ground. The Gravitic Flux finds 3 members here, Meteors, and they can close it out if Courage can't find this pick, and he gets taken off of the high ground, barely managing to take this point. They've got 27 seconds left. 3 members left alive for Meteors. It's not over yet. No, J-Vice is dead. Okay, no 3 kills after the point's done yet.
Yeah, that was by the skin of their teeth. They had that bat ult to get the initial damage to get them into a position where they could put the ult on the corner by Orisa and then use that supercharger damage that was never going to get attacked, because getting into that backline was impossible, to be able to just spam damage down a lane. And Pyro tried, J-Vice tried, everybody tried. Courage was the closest to getting it, but all of these damage angles tried to stop that engagement by what seemed to be a train of Eclipse. And here they go, literally creating the battle bus as we have here on Hollywood, trying to get to that final studio, get McCree to his appointment.
Oh, and he makes it to his appointment. He does not go down to the Roadhog, but J-Vice picking off Rocket. Bastion almost immediately dismantled, but Shoney Red making a name for himself. Courage in the backline, though. If they can take out this Roadhog, they stand a pretty good chance here. They res the Bastion. He'll get back on top of the cart, but he doesn't have an resist shield to keep him alive for much longer. Cryptic Force is going to be up to the task of defending this Bastion until the Orisa can come back.
And he's down one of his main tanking abilities, that is, eating all the damage and putting it into shields. And his shield's not the best at defending card. He has to constantly put it up and down and up and down, and just hope that Bray gets back in time before we see anything going down.
Oh, the window used it. Oh my gosh, in conjunction with the hook, but it barely doesn't land the the invulnerability field will be there to keep him alive for just a little bit longer. Cryptic Force existing inside of it, keeping himself alive. But Kurt's trying to pick on a 9-volt, trading right back for the 2 kills that Eclipse has picked up right now. The fight looking the way red right now. It's going to be hard to break this Bastion apart when you're at a player disadvantage. But Pyro and Trash Road just holding on to the point as long as they can. Rocket looking to establish himself, but Courage is in the back line. He doesn't find the hook onto Rocket. The invulnerability field back up, will be keeping him alive for a lot longer. 3 members left alive here for Meteors on the point. Pyro just trying to freeze his Bastion. He doesn't get taken out. And Vice back at it. J-Vice on the high ground, completely uncontested here, but the cart will continue forward. He's going to do it on his own. Fragging out here. J-Vice putting it in when it matters yet again.
J-Vice is... You have to stop giving him those advantages of being on the high ground and just shooting down. The kid doesn't miss. He doesn't know what to do when the mouse is anywhere but on the heads or in the necks of these opponents. And Bastion getting taken out by that extreme damage of having the added Mercy getting pulled early. Courage again not understanding that he's a tank player and having those DPS routes going on these massive flanks. But let's see if they can get Bastion on point to keep this cart rolling, but it's looking grim.
They're holding on to it for this configuration tank, which honestly I have to question. The Maywall does come out trying to cut Rocket off, but it's not going to be doing just enough. He's so much more mobile when he's got that tank form, and it takes out Trash Run. That's a big kill here. That means there's going to be no sound barrier available for this fight. Courage just trying to push people back, and the Dragon will be picking up 1 from J-Vice. Cryptic Force are trading back onto the off tank of Courage. In this one, it's up to J-Vice and Arise, but he's not going to be up to the task this time. As the cart continues forward and the Bastion set right back up.
That was well done on the side of Eclipse. They kept everybody alive. There's no one running second, and they're able to probably close out this point.
Yeah, Trash Run
get a few kills to boot.
Not enough as they get pushed back, and that Bastion all of a sudden back up to 43%. And Joni Red will have the high noon to zone, and on these long sight lines that this point C offers, it's going to be a pretty big ultimate.
And if you look on the side of Meteors, all they have is that Lucio ult, which Lucio ult looks real frail when you have a McCree on high ground kind of looking at you with all this extra health you supposedly has, but it's going down rapidly, and he's building his damage potential even more rapidly. So, and you have a Bastion that you're looking down the barrel of, so looking really promising from the side of Eclipse. Pyro having that ult online is going to potentially win this fight out if they use it properly.
Getting walled up is Rocket, and they'll use the Blizzard to try and follow it up. Almost eaten by Cryptic Force, but not quite. Rocket taking Pyro right out of commission, though. The high noon from Shoni. Red going to be picking out J-Vice, and the kill's turning up red. Regardless of the Blizzard, it looks like Eclipse is just going to continue forward.
Cryptic Force with the hero play there. I know you said he didn't need it, but he actually did at the last second, and it just saved the team. Everybody panicked. They said that we're about to get Blizzard, but no. Cryptic said that never happened. That ability doesn't exist.
Fantastic job out of Cryptic Force there, and he's going to look to close it out on his own. He picks up 1 member with the Gravitic Flux. The invulnerability field, though, going down on point for Meteors as the Bastion is finally taken out. 9-volt, though, managed to get the res onto him, and Bray is going to try and set him up in the corner of the point, but the configuration tank not meant to come out. Holding onto the point, they get a Bastion of their own. Meteors hold on to this map a little longer.
Yeah, well played. It was in that dying embers of the game they were finally able to get a little bit more cohesion and stop that onslaught that Rocket and Shoni were able to do with that incredible damage output. But Cryptic did really well at the end there. Shoutouts to him. He pulled the trigger potentially a little bit too early on that Gravitic Flux because the Lucio is able to answer right back and keep everybody alive. And then the Bastion there does a lot of damage, but when you are able to run down a Bastion with that much health and have a lot of utility to be able to stop him, like the May Freeze and like another Bastion doing a lot of damage to you, and these tanks that seem to never die, it becomes a little bit too much for a very linear character like Bastion, who can only really deal damage in a direction instead of being able to freeze like May or Wraith like Reaper. And they're able to kill the Bastion. The rest of the team crumbles after that because it's all there to prop him up.
Again, it's been the story of tonight. Anything you can do, I can do better. Meteors are going to be up to the task of pushing even further, though. I think, as always, the question mark is going to be Eclipse. Where they want to run on this defense, it's going to be locked in a Reaper McCree, which is honestly, I think, a little bit interesting, but I think they're expecting a Pharah out of Pyro.
And why wouldn't you? I'd rather set up for what Pyro is capable of doing on that Pharah because of how potent it's been. But if they need a switch, they're right there. So I don't know what we're going to see out of the Meteors going into this first point. I don't know if this is the comp they're going to run with the Sim Bastion. It could work, depending on the high ground. They seem very comfortable utilizing that high ground. But but Rocket and Shoney, no slouches on DPS, could potentially flank him and get a lot of damage off and deny that Bastion going on a first point. So we'll have to hope for some cheeky positioning onto that left high ground, or maybe an excellent rotation all the way around the back. But I'm sure Meteors have something for us.
Meteors running up with a interesting Bastion strat as they TP up on the high ground. They don't have a clue. Rocket's in, but he's forced to use his Wraith Form to get out. Almost immediately resets in the hallway. But they back up. J-Vice will have an angle onto him. But Cryptic Force taking out Pyro and Cool Sam. The strategy completely falling apart. He gets a rock to the face. 3 members left alive here, but it's almost certainly not meant to be. Meteors immediately pushed off the point, and their surprise tactic is all of a sudden found out.
It was a great play. I think they had the potential to win there, but the issue was that Cool Sam got a little greedy and tried to get close to the edge to take out Rocket when they used that Wraith Form, to try to engage on the fact that Reaper didn't have all their abilities, but got too close to the fire, and Bray was able to snuff that out by pulling the main tank down, killing them, and just winning the fight from there.
No Bastion anymore. J-Vice swapping onto the Reaper now. Pyro being on May. The wall comes out, cuts off a couple members here of Eclipse, but it's not going to be enough to find any kills quite yet. Resetting the shields on point. They're going to be Bray and Cryptic Force Rocket trying to get the pressure in. It's going to be enough for Shoney taking out J-Vice before he can get anywhere near the team. And the rock lands on Pyro. He won't be going down. They won't be able to keep Cryptic Force alive through the freeze. And the kills just barely rolling up in the way of Eclipse. Rocket going to be staying alive through the freeze as well. Courage just trying to get out as best he can. Will he be able to? No! He gets an accretion from Cryptic Force as a goodbye letter.
Yeah, and look at the ults on the side of Eclipse. We're rocking everybody above 70, so this next fight is going to be ult palooza if they want it to be. But if they use their ults wisely and snuff out these 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 team fights left that Meteors have, we could see an early wrap-up to this series.
It's been the story tonight so far. Eclipse has been mastering their ultimate advantages, and they're going to look to do it again. 4 members picked up with the Gravitic Flux. The High Noon used as well, and the Gravitic Flux will do it on its own, taking out Trash Run down from the sky, and 2 more kills rolling the way of Eclipse. Definitely going to be the end of this one. 1 minute 50 seconds on the clock, though. Definitely not over for Meteors.
And I don't know if they needed Bubbers to pop that ult the way the high Noon went. So that was a 3 ult engagement when now they have 3 online. But we're about to see potentially 4 or 5 online with Meteors if Cool Sam and Trash Run are able to get up in time to match theirs with Pyro. So we'll have to see if that 3 ult investment was worth it.
And 2 potentially fight-ending ultimates here coming up with Pyro's Blizzard and Courage's Gravitic Flux. They just need to wait for their opportunity to use it. As Courage is going to be the first man to drop, picking up 3 members, but countered by the Sound Barrier, engaging with the Coalescence, but the Bongo will be dropped. The May ultimate should be coming up soon, but Rocket in the backline, not finding anybody, but it will be as the rest of his teammates taking out the rest of Eclipse. On the left side of the point here, Shoney Red charging up another High Noon in that fight. Trash Road, last man taken out, and 1 minute on the clock in an extremely well-fought fight out of Eclipse.
And Trash Road with potentially game-changing ult, popping it very late when maybe only 2 people on the side of Meteors were left. Going in now with 2, maybe 3 if J-Vice gets their ult really quick. 2 very great ults, mind you, but definitely not worth the investment, I think, when you have Bubbers' window here.
The Bongo will be committed early. The window's going to be zoning everybody off. The question is, can Cryptic Force manage to get his Gravitic Flux up quite in time? The Blizzard comes up. The heat is on now. Cryptic Force gets it up. Just in time, picks up 4 members here of Meteors. He takes down Courage. Next member out will be J-Vice, so Shoney Red picking him up. Rocket trying to get value in the backline. Cool Sam, they'll put an end to that one right now, but they're pushing in 4 members of Meteors left alive, holding on his point as best they can. And Pyro and Cool Sam looking to do it themselves, setting up in the corner of the point. The spawns will be coming in their way. Courage resetting on point on the hamster. Shoney Red, they'll come out big! Fights 4 members with the High Noon. He wants this map over. He wants it over now. Overtime ticking down here for Meteors. This is their championship on the line. J-Vice still picks up 2 members with the Death Blossom of his own. Cryptic Force doing his best to take out Courage, but that's gonna be it. Overtime taking down Trash Run, just trying to touch. He barely managed to. 3 members of Meteors back on the point, but the kills are red. Pyro goes down, and that's gonna be it. Overtime ticking down. Meteors go out, and Eclipse move on to the finals.
Excellent last fight. That hero ult out of Cryptic Force, bringing up the entire side of Meteors, getting everybody in position for just to get destroyed by Shoney, which is exactly what I'm assuming we're going to see here, which is the 4-man High Noon right at the end. The nail bite that was that last fight. And then Trash not having the ult on hand because of that last fight, tossing the ult pretty much away, really opened the door for Eclipse to take the series.
You can see him doing a little happy dance there at the end, and I'd be feeling that way too if I was proceeding past the finals, but not sure how long he'll be doing that when he realizes who he might have to face up against in their next matchup.
Oh yeah, no one wants to open that door. But someone's got to do it, and we don't know who it is actually. The game's not there, but tough luck versus commit is gonna be one heck of a game because we saw this one, and it's gonna be hard to top. But with players as good as both tough luck and commit, I'm excited to watch that one too. I can't stress enough how these dying embers of the community and this tournament are just shaping up to be nail biters and just so exciting. And I'm glad that I was able to come out here with all of you guys and Door and be able to watch a game that was this high level. It's really shown how far the community has been able to go. And congrats to Meteors for making it this far. You guys have really pushed this community forward with your uh, capabilities to make us all happy, give a top level play, and be a lot of bright and shining personalities in the Discord. And then Eclipse, looking forward to your matchup against either Tough Luck or Commit there in the finals. And good luck to you guys and whoever both teams that still left to play their games and play up in the finals.
Yeah, closing out the Meteors again. Fantastic season coming in second seed. They did a great job, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. As Eclipse will be your winners. They're going on into the finals, taking the series 4-2. Fantastic job from everybody in the series. But coming up this week, I'm actually not 100% sure what days things are airing outside of Holy Jalapenos versus Jetpack Cats, which will be on tomorrow. That's going to be an incredible match to see if Jetpack Cats can continue their underdog run. They've been doing it the same way Eclipse have been running through absolutely everybody they come up against. But up in the upcoming days after that, we will be airing Illusion versus Undead Battery. Will the Battery Boys be able to take it? We'll have to see. Commit versus Tough Luck. Tough Luck has a hell of a challenge coming up ahead of them. And a huge lineup for the rest of this week right now.
Yeah, and then today being the games that are committing Tough Luck and Illusion versus Undead Battery. I don't know the results of this yet, but I'm sure someone out there does. And or if they're even over yet.
They should not be known until we air them.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we will have those matches airing. Tomorrow is Jetpack Cats versus Holy Jalapenos. Friday will be Commit versus Tough Luck. And last but not least, Saturday, we've got Illusion versus Undead Battery. Don't want to miss any of those. These semifinals and these playoffs in general have been absolute shell shock matches. And we will be seeing you guys tomorrow. But for tonight, Eclipse has been your victors, 4-2, taking out Meteors. I have been Door at Door_OW on Twitter, and I've been with Juco High. Juco High, anything you want to shout out real quick?
Come watch the Beat Drop podcast with me, Mr_Juco High on Twitter, and live long and God bless.
All right, thanks again to everybody who tuned in. Y'all were fantastic. These teams were great, and I can't wait for another incredible day of Overwatch tomorrow. We'll see you then.